First thing we want to do is to give two other names for line DE and for plane C. So I want you to write down what's another way that we can name line DE. In fact, two ways that we can name line DE. And when you get that written down, I want you to figure out two ways that we can name plane C. All right, Skylar's got one answer for me. What's another name for line DE, Skylar? ED. Does everyone agree that line ED and line DE are the same line? Okay, very good. So with lines, the order doesn't matter, and we can take the easy way out and switch that, right? So that's one answer. Okay, we've got to come up with another one. DR. Let's see if DR is going to work. Okay. Everybody agree? I'm seeing some people nod and some people shaking their heads. Okay. Why are you shaking your heads? Yes, sir. Good. The letter has to be capitalized to be a point. I agree with that. Okay. So, and there should be a dot on the line in order for that to signify that that is a point. Okay. So, Eric, what do you think? Okay. So Eric thinks, how about EAD? With the line symbol across the top. What do you think? Do you agree? So is that, we're talking, so now that we're thinking maybe opposite rays, some people agree. What do you think? EAD. How many letters do we need for to name a line? 2, okay? So can we remove a letter to get a better answer there? What letter would you suggest? The D. Let's remove the D, okay? Let's try that. Do you think that line EA is the same as line ED? Everybody agree with that? Because lines go on forever, correct? Yes, sir. The little cursive letter would work as well. So if we didn't want to use our symbols, we could call it line what? What's its little script letter, its lowercase letter here? R, line R. Would everyone agree that that would be the same line? Okay. And then could we also reverse this and call it line AE? Can someone give me one or two more? Yes, sir. Very good. Would line DA work? Does DA become the same as line DE? They go on forever, right? And Eric? AD. Do you see that there are lots and lots of answers to this problem? Do you see that it will take me a little bit of time to grade it when I get ready to give you a quiz on this and you give me any of these combinations, right? And there are lots of right answers, so you don't have just one or two right answers. Okay? Everybody good with this one? What questions do you have? Okay, now let's talk about the plane. Plane C. Why could they call that plane C? Yes, sir. Good. There's no dot here. It's not a point, just plain. That's its name, plain C. Okay? So now how many letters do we have to use in order to name a plane? Yes, sir. Three. Three. Yep, three non-collinear letters. Three non-collinear points. Okay? So what do you think, Josh? D, A, B. Okay? Does plane D, A, B represent the same plane as plane C? Do you agree or disagree? No opinion? I saw one person shake their head. I don't see anybody else responding. Agree? Disagree? Ambivalent? Don't know? Okay. Now, here's one of the things that we have to think about. Look at point B. What line is it on? Line S or line AB or BA? Okay. What do you think the dashing here means? It's not connected or it's intersecting. It's going through it, right? So if you think of your desktop as plane C and you think of a pencil going through that pencil, that's what they're trying to represent with the dashing here. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So if they have a line intersecting that plane at point A, we need to decide, is point B on that plane? I'm seeing people shake their head. Why not? Yeah, it's meant to be outside of it.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Could you please send Brooke Buck to the main office? She'll be leaving.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have the assignment on your phone? Okay. Have a great weekend. No, that's pre-calc. Okay. All right. So plane DAB. What do you think? Did that work? No, because we didn't know yet about this dashing thing, right? And what that's supposed to represent. So how can we modify that? We don't want B to be part of that name because it's outside. So F, I agree. Everybody agree? Could you use plane C again? Nope, because it already has said. Good question. Okay, so what do you think? Shall we be able to use the letter C as part of our name? DAC. Why not? Because there's no point. There's no dot to it. Okay? So those are the things, those little nuances that you have to pay attention to so that you can get this down and know it and not be struggling with that stuff. Okay? Great questions. All right, so DAF is 1. Can we reverse those orders? Absolutely. So you could have FAD and you could have ADF and so forth. Okay? So there's lots of ways that you can name that. Can we come up with one other name? EAF. I like that you're doing an EAF. That looks good to me. Does everyone see why EAF is the same plane as DAF is the same plane as C? Okay? I'm going to put the wrong answer up here and you can tell, and I need you to tell me why. Okay? Why can't I call this plane DAE? Because they're all in the same line. Why does that matter? A plane has to have 3 separate ones that aren't in the same line. 3 non-collinear lines. Okay, does everyone understand why? Otherwise, I'm naming a line and I'm actually kind of naming it with 3 letters and so on. For me to name a plane, it has to be 3 non-collinear points. That's a big mouthful. Three points that are not on the same line, all of them. Okay? Questions you have about this one? Making sense? Okay. Next one. I would like you to give me another name for, what does that symbol mean? So what does that symbol mean? Segment. Segment TR. What's another name for segment TR? Are there any other names for segment TR besides segment RT? Nope. Why not? Absolutely. It has to have those two endpoints, doesn't it? TR is this piece right here. RT is the same thing. So TR went from here to here. RT goes from here to here. They name the same segment, and there's nothing else that we can do to rename that segment other than reverse the letters. Okay? Simple. Don't overthink that one. What questions do you have about that one? Okay, next one. Name all the rays with endpoint P, and then which of these rays are opposite rays? So first of all, does anybody notice the absence of a point at P? Okay. Our book sometimes gets lazy and doesn't put a point there. Okay. A slide back, they did have a point here at A when it was going through. So they'll put it there when something is intersecting and going through, but they won't put it here when these two are intersecting on the same plane. Okay? Not all the time. So there is an understood intersection point here at P. And if it helps you to draw it, feel free. So I want you to try to name all the rays with endpoint P. And what's the special thing that we have to remember about when we're naming rays? Start with the endpoint, and then tell me which direction you're going. Excellent, you're a natural. And what symbol are you going to use? Don't forget your symbols all the way through. That's not on one, but you have to have them on each one. Each one. Don't forget your symbols. Don't forget your symbols as well. When we're talking about rays, I want to see the word ray, or I need to see the symbol. Nice job. All the rays with endpoint P. Very good. All right, Olivia, do you have one for me? PR. Does everybody agree? What kind of symbol do I draw? Just one arrow. Good. Segment with one arrow. Okay. What's another one? Matthew. PS. How about Jaden? PT. Keep going on that row. How about Adam? PQ. Do we have all of the rays with endpoint P? Yes. Okay. Which ones are opposite? PS is opposite to which one? Didn't hear, I'm sorry. PQ, PQ, PS and PQ form a line. Okay, what do you think, Jessa? Do you have another one? PT and PR, very nice. PT, PR, form a line. Making sense? What questions do we have about this one? Everybody's good? All right. Here we go. Sketch two intersecting lines, A and B. I should have italicized those. I apologize. They're italicized on your paper. Two intersecting lines A and B that lie in plane W. Start with the plane. Chase, what did you draw for your first figure? A parallelogram. Start with the plane, draw a parallelogram. Thank you. I'm sorry, we'll try and turn it so it doesn't circulate without blowing on you. How do we let everyone know that that's plane W? W with no point, right? That's the name of the plane. All right, and then what do we do after that, Hank? What do we draw next? Two intersecting lines. So we want to show that they're on the plane and that they cross each other. And how do we label them? Good. We want an A and a B right next to them, lowercase a, lowercase b. Okay? If we were writing those out, we would have to write the word line A and line B. We can't use the line symbol on top. Everyone have something similar to this? Good question. So could we have put a dotted line on here? So if we had put a dotted line, that would mean that we have one that's intersecting. Let's say that A was dotted coming through. Okay, A would be intersecting B on plane W at a certain point, right? But you have to kind of read into what they're saying. We want two intersecting lines that will both lie on plane W. Okay, they don't add the both. Okay, but hold that thought, it's coming. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Okay, they're implying that these two lines are on that plane, both of them. All right, next one. Sketch line D that intersects plane D in only one point, and label that point A. Start with the plane. It's usually easier if you start with that. Beautiful. I like where you're going with that. What can you do to make it just a little bit better? Good. Very nice, very nice. Almost there. Good, good, good. You guys are getting the hang of this. Geometry is going to be easy for you. All right, so we start with plane D, parallelogram labeled D, and we want a line D that only intersects the plane in one point. So if I just draw line D this way, what does that imply? Good, it's a line on that plane. Okay, so what do I have to do to fix it? I have to have some dots. So I want this to go through it, and I signify going through it with dots, and I show it coming beyond. And that place where it intersects is going to be A, capital letter A, labeled points with capital letters. And the line is D, so I put a little D beside it somewhere, toward the top, toward the bottom, doesn't matter, just no point there, lowercase. Okay? You guys are good. What questions do you have on this one? Good? All right. Sketch a plane X that contains line PQ and a point B that is not on line PQ. Start with your plane. That's good, Aubriana. Looks really, really good. But how do you make B not look like it's on that plane? B is not on the plane. Almost. To me, it looks like B's on that plane. Okay, so we've got a plane X. You've got that perfect. How do you make PQ look like it's on the plane? Put it on the plane. Very good. Okay. Yep, just anywhere that's not on PQ. And I apologize. Some of you had it. You were right. I just misread it. It was right. You were fine. It's not on PQ, not on that. So you were fine originally. I misread it. You were fine. You were correct. Okay. And then where are you going to put your B? Okay. I was overthinking this one. So plane X, start with your plane. Contains PQ. How do I show that PQ is on it? Yep. Draw it within it. Label my P, capital letter always. Label my Q, capital letter. Okay, now what? A B off the line somewhere. And it kind of implies that B is on the plane. If you have B here, that would be okay. If you overthought it like I did, and you put B up here instead, that would be okay too, right? Because if B is not on the plane, it certainly can't be on the line that is on the plane. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. But it didn't specify where B has to be, did it? As long as it's not on line PQ. What questions do you have on this one? We're good? All right. Here's the tough one. Think of a book. If I have two planes intersecting, Okay? Those are two planes that are intersecting on one line, right? Make sense? Two planes, if I'm holding them straight, are intersecting on one line. How do we draw that three-dimensional object in 2D? Eric, put it away, please, sir. Eric, thank you. How do we draw that? There's one plane, right? And I'm rusty. It's been a long summer, so I'm not sure I can draw this very well and have it look right. That's not going to look right. Can't draw it. If you want to see how I cheat and how I will let you cheat, I'll let you draw extra. Does that kind of look right? It's supposed to be this book that I'm holding up. Okay? R and S intersecting at line A and B. It does not look right, does it? But let me show you a way to cheat that we all know how to draw. Okay? We've all drawn rectangular cubes and boxes and so forth, right? So let's do that. And if you want to put your dashes behind, you can. But now instead of having just two planes, how many do I have? 3, and that's okay, you've overdone it. Actually, 6, right? If we count all the sides that are implied behind there. Now, this is plane R. This is plane S. And they're intersecting in line AB. Would that work? Okay. So you can cheat. I have no problem with that. I don't really consider it cheating. You're just drawing more. So, yep. Yes, that's much better than what I did. You would kind of want to extend your other guy, but that looks good. Okay. So I'm not expecting perfection here because I can't produce it myself. Okay, so don't stress about it. But if you need to, draw a box. Okay. Last example. Two different planes that contain, what is that symbol? Line QP. Okay. So we want to name two different planes that contain line QP. Do you see why they start to eliminate the points? Because it could clutter the drawing up. We've got lots of places where things are intersecting, so they're not going to put the little dots where those points are. But this is the understood point N, and this is the understood point M, and so on. So we have a plane, a front plane, a back plane, a bottom plane, a top plane, and a left and a right plane. Okay? So two different planes that contain line QP. So first of all, when I want to name a plane, do I have a symbol? Nope. So we have to write the word plane. What do you think? Okay, so QP is here, right? This is line QP. So a bottom plane would contain it, and the front face would contain it, right? So how are we going to name our bottom face? We could potentially write a letter there, but if it's not there, we don't want to introduce it. So what's the bottom plane? What are 3 points on that bottom plane? QPR. Does everybody agree that that is this blue face? Okay. Which other one contains QP? SPR. SPR. Okay, so SPR would also be a name of the same plane, right? But now let's talk about this front face. What would be another name for this front face? MPQ. And so I help myself out when I do this by making sure I have Q and P in the name, and then I just have to find one other point that's on that same plane. Okay? Make sense? All right. These are the kinds of problems you're working tonight, this weekend. Okay? So let me give you the assignment. It's on the syllabus or on the website on your phone. You're welcome to take a snapshot of it if you want just a quick picture, if you want to write it down. You're welcome to take out your phone and write it down.